Hello everyone, myself Falguni. Welcome to our channel. Today we will continue our session with book Hornbil. Lesson 2. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. This lesson has been written by Gordon Cook and Alan East. Gordon Cook was born in December 3, 1978 in Toronto, and he is a two-time Canadian Olympic sailor. And Alan East, he was admitted to the role of solicitors in 2003 and has gained extensive experience as a litigator, manager and legal trainer. Alan was also co-founder of multi-academy trust, Central Academies Trust, which has as its aim improving standards in secondary education. So, let's start our lesson. In July 1976, my wife Mary, son Jonathan 6, daughter Suzanne 7, and I set sail from Plymouth, England to duplicate the round-the-world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. So here, narrator started his sea voyage journey in July 1976, and his companion were his wife Mary, his son Jonathan 6 years old, his daughter Suzanne 7 years old, and set sail for Plymouth, England. So their pick point that Plymouth, England, to duplicate. Here, to duplicate यानी कि to repeat or to copy the world voyage. Voyage यानी कि sea journey. Made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. So here the narrator copying the same route and same journey of Captain James Cook, who set sail यानी कि started journey of sea before 200 years ago. For the longest time, Mary and I, a 37-year-old businessman, had dreamed of sailing in the wake of famous explorer, and for the past 16 years, we had spent all our leisure time honing our seafaring skills in British waters. So here the narrator himself was a 37 years old and also a businessman, and he had always a dream. Here he mentioned that the past 16 years he spent all his leisure यानी कि free time for honing our seafaring skills. Honing, it means improving, and seafaring यानी traveling by sea in British waters यानी कि in British oceans. Here the word is dreamt of sailing the wake of the famous explorer. It means wake of, it means afterwards, just as Captain Cook had done. How successfully Captain Cook had done that sea voyage before 200 years, the same way narrator also wanted to do. So you have that in notice this expression in the text. Here you have notice expression in the text, infer their meaning from the context. So first one is that honing our seafaring skills. So the meaning of honing our seafaring skill is, I have given to you that sharpening of talent or improving of talent. Our boat, Wave Walker. So the name of the boat was Wave Walker. a 23 meter and 30-ton wooden hull. Beauty had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. So here the narrator said that the name of that vehicle, sea vehicle, was Wave Walker, and the Wave Walker was 23 meter and 30-ton wooden hull Beauty. Now wooden hull actually यानी कि lower part of the seat, and had professionally built. Definitely they are planning for the successful and huge longest journey. So the boat must be built perfectly. And we had spent months fitting out and testing it. You cannot just, you got that new built boat and you can start your journey. First of all, you have to test that boat or any vehicle in different and rough weather. Then you can put in or use it for your journey. So same narrator had did. They had spent months to fitting it out and testing it roughest weather we could find. The first leg of our plan, 3 years, 1,05,000 kilometers journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. So here we have explanation of poet's long time dream, and he said that first leg यानी कि stage or round, first stage or first round of plan 3 years, and they have traveled 1,05,000 kilometers journey pleasantly as we sailed down यानी कि as they started their journey, and at first break or first stop we took on 2 crewmen, American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Segler, to help us tackle one of the world's roughest seas and southern Indian Ocean. The narrator said that they had also took the help of 2 men, that American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Segler. Why they need them? Because they were also trained, and narrator used them if any bad situation arise like world's roughest seas, especially in southern Indian Ocean, then they were good to tackle it. And on our second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. So narrator says that when the second round, on that second day out of the Cape Town, we began the encounter यानी कि to face strong gales, gale यानी कि violent winds. For the next few weeks they blew continuously. They यानी कि that violent winds. Gales did not worry me, but the size of the waves was alarming, up to 15 meters as high as our main mast. So here narrator said that I could tackle that violent winds, but the most horrifying and most terrible thing was the waves, size of the waves, because the size was up to 15 meters and as high as our main mast. So if you have ever seen that sea or boat which you use for that long time voyages or sea journey, the topmost part of the ship, which is known as the mast. So December 25th found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town, despite atrocious weather. We had a wonderful holiday complete with a Christmas tree. So on December 25, that 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. So they are 3,500 kilometers in each direction from the Cape Town place. And despite the atrocious, it means rough or violent weather, we yani ki here the narrator, his wife, his daughter and son, and that two crewmen had a wonderful holiday complete with a Christmas tree. Why? Like 25th December, it means it's a Christmas time. So they have spent very beautiful time with each other and they celebrate Christmas also. And New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, but we reasoned that it had to change soon. After New Year's, after Christmas, there was no change in weather, but they were very hopeful and did reason that it had to change soon. Reason यानी कि told ourselves, खुद को कहना कि don't worry, it will be fine. And it did change for the worse. Narrator says that definitely it had to change soon, and it changed also, but not in a good way. Its condition was more worse, more bad. At dawn on January 2, the waves were gigantic. यानी कि early morning on 2nd January, as the narrator mentioned that New Year, यानी कि 1st January, the condition wasn't any sign of improvement. But at early morning time on January 2, the waves were gigantic यानी कि huge or high. We were sailing with only a small storm jeep and were still making 8 knots. The narrator says that they used that small storm jeep. Now jeep यानी कि triangular stay sail. For better understanding, you can see that picture of sailing boat and you get the exact idea where this word or thing located. As the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see endless, enormous seas rolling towards us, and the screaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ears. The narrator says that as we continue our journey, our sea journey, but we could see endless, enormous seas. Enormous यानी कि huge. Seas rolling यानी कि seas, water, waves coming towards them, and the screaming of the wind. Definitely that sound was terrible, and spray was painful to the ears. Screaming यानी कि making sharp noise, and when you are in sea, especially there is nothing except water. That time this sound also scares you. And to slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jeep and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. So to combat or to fight with that heavy sound and wind, first of all, they have to slow down their boat. And they drop the storm jeep. Here, the storm jeep, this one is the one side part of sailing boat, and they lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. Less, it means tied or fastened together. Mooring rope, it means rope used for securing a boat on the sea. Stern. stern यानी कि the rear end of the boat. Then we double lest everything went through our life raft drill, attached liveliness, don all skins and life jackets and waited. Now what had they do? First of all, we double lasses यानी कि they tied that boat. First of all, everything went through our life raft drill. Here life raft यानी कि a fleet made of logs and attached liveliness, don all skin. Don यानी कि put on all skins and life jackets. Why life jackets? If bad weather or bad condition arise, then they can save at least themselves, not the boat. And waited for the next move from the nature. The first indication of impending disaster came at about 6 p.m. So the evening time. Indication यानी कि sign of impending यानी कि drawing near. Disaster came and with an ominous silence यानी कि like bad omen. The wind dropped and the sky immediately grew dark. The flow of wind was lessened or stopped there, but the sky immediately turned into grew dark. Then came a growing roar and an enormous cloud towered aft on a sea. So ominous silence, like हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि तूफान आने से पहले वाली शांति, तो यहाँ पे भी कुछ ऐसा ही होता है. The wind dropped, but the next moment the sky converted into grew dark. Then the growing roar and the enormous यानी कि huge cloud towered यानी कि on the head, aft यानी कि back of the ship. वो लोग आगे जा रहे हैं, पीछे से जो पूरा स्काई है completely डार्क हो गया है, लेकिन उनको फॉलो कर रहा है, ऐसे उनके पीछे पीछे आ रहा है. With horror, I realized that it was not a cloud but a wave like no other I had ever seen. Soon the narrator realized that, oh, there is not the image of sky, there is nothing like sky, but there is a wave, there is a huge wave of the water that I had ever seen. It appeared perfectly vertical and almost twice the height of the other waves. Narrator says that the height of that wave was almost twice comparing to other waves. Vertical यानी कि standing upright. With frightful breaking crest. Frightful, it means deadly, and crest यानी कि top. The roar increased to a thunder as the stern moved up the face of the wave. Stern यानी कि the rear end of the boat, as I told earlier. The roar यानी कि noise increased to a thunder when the stern moved up face of the wave. जहाँ पे वो जो पूरा वेव है वो बोट को कवर करता है, तो वो जो कंडीशन होती है बोट एंड द पर्सन जो उनमें सेल कर रहे हैं, सबकी बहुत बुरी हालत हो जाती है. एंड फॉर अ मोमेंट आई थॉट वी माइट राइड ओवर इट. Narrator says, just for a moment I thought that we are not ride on that water, but we were ride on that huge wave. But then a tremendous explosion shook the deck. Tremendous यानी कि fearful, and explosion यानी कि burst or blast. Shook the deck. Deck यानी कि the platform of a ship. A torrent of green and white water broke over the sea. Torrent यानी कि strong, fast, stream. Green and white water broke over the sea. Okay, why green and water? Like there is a huge wave, so almost all the things or color of, actually not there is green and white color, but the things inside the water give the impact or image to that water like green and white. My head smashed into the wheel and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. The narrator says that suddenly my head smashed यानी कि hit into the wheel and he was suddenly realized he was awake of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. यानी कि यहाँ पे the condition was of the narrator was that he was sinking in the waves because the waves was too high and too huge that it was almost tough for narrator to protect himself to sinking. And sorry, wait a minute. My head smashed into the wheel and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. I accepted my approaching death and as I was losing consciousness, I felt quite peaceful. The narrator said that I accepted my approaching death. I accepted my end. Okay, my end is near. So it's almost my last time here on this earth, in this universe. And I felt quite peaceful. Okay, whatever happened, we will deal with it. Unexpectedly, my head popped out of water. Unexpectedly, because the narrator had almost lost all the hope that he could be survived. So he said that unexpectedly my head popped out. Popped out यानी कि came outside, rose out of the water, and few meters away, wave walker was near capsizing. Capsizing यानी कि overturning. So he was outside of that water, just nearby that wave walker, and wave walker is the name of that sailing boat. Her mast almost horizontal. Whose mast? Wave walker. Horizontal यानी कि here there is a level or the exact side of wave walker. Then a wave hurled her upright. My lifeline jerked taut. I grabbed the guard rails and sailed through the air into wave walker's main boom. So here narrator says that her mast almost horizontal, then the wave hurled her upright. Hurled यानी कि here through with force. Her lifeline jerked taut. Jerk यानी कि moved and taut यानी कि tight. I grabbed the guardrails. Here, what happened exactly? When the narrator popped out his face out of the water, that time he found that he was away from the wave walker. But here the wave walker's condition was also worse. I grabbed, यानी कि narrator, grabbed the guardrails and sailed through the air into wave walker's main boom. यानी कि the lifeline or life jacket, he just catch it and try to reach towards the wave walkers. Subsequent waves tossed me around the deck like a rag doll. So here the narrator says that the subsequent waves also tossed me. Tossed me यानी कि also held him or threw him towards a deck. Here the condition or the situation of the narrator was like almost near to death, and the waves throw him Like ragdoll. Ragdoll, it means a doll made of torn clothes or wasted clothes. And so there is no value of narrator in this in that scene. It's just like a thing, not as a human being. My left ribs cracked. My mouth filled with blood and broken teeth. Somehow I found the wheel, line up and stun for the next wave and hung on. Narrator's left ribs cracked, crack यानी कि broke. His mouth filled with blood. Definitely, at a time he almost near to death, but unexpectedly he was saved, and his teeth was also broken. So that broken teeth blood was flew away. That's why his mouth was filled with blood. Somehow I found the wheel and line up the stand for the next wave and hung on. When the next wave came and he threw narrator towards the boat, suddenly he catch it. Water, water everywhere. I could see or I could feel that the ship had water below, but I dare not abandon the wheel to investigate. Narrator said, everywhere there is water. After all, it's a sea voyage. I could feel, narrator could feel that the ship had water below, and he didn't have dare to abandon. Abandon यानी कि leave or let go. To check that wheel. Investigate यानी कि here to check. Suddenly, the front hatch was thrown open and Mary appeared. Hatch, it means the door in the deck of the ship. And Mary, यानी कि wife of the narrator, appeared. We are sinking. वो लोग डूब रहे थे. So she screamed. She loudly said, the decks are smashed. Deck, as I told you before, platform of the ship. Smashed यानी कि hit, and we are full of water. That's when the narrator says that water, water everywhere. Okay, students, we will continue our session in next part. Thank you.